Hi, welcome to episode 55 of the podcast. In the last couple of episodes, I've been talking about UX research, and in the last one, I talked about how to get your team interested in research. In this episode, I'll be continuing the conversation on research tips and being a researcher and how to make your research effective and impactful. In the last episode, I talked about how to get your team interested in research, you need to first understand what they need or what their own goals are, what the person who's making the decision, what they want to happen, like what is the thing that they want to see happen. And that way you can then think about research projects that help them arrive at that answer. But what if you work in an organization where there's hesitancies with talking to customers, right? Like people, for whatever reason, don't want the researcher or anybody outside of a particular set of people to talk to customers. And this usually happens a lot in B2B where some people are very protective of their relationship with the customer and they don't want other people to talk to them. How do you approach that kind of situation? Again, to do this, you need to approach it like a research project. What you need to understand, why do people have this hesitancy, right? You need to understand the current lay of the land. You need to understand who are the people who have access to customers right now. So typically that would be customer support, maybe your marketing team. If it's a B2B company, you probably have a sales team and some other kinds of teams, maybe customer success, customer support, those kinds of people. So you need to know who currently has access to customers. The next thing you need to understand is why the product team or the UX team does not have access to users. Because it may be an assumption, right, that you're not allowed to talk to customers. Because though that happens in some places, right, that's happened. Like I've gone through that process before, but there are some situations where it's just an assumption and nobody has actually like tried to find out how you can and what you can do. So you need to find out like why, what is happening, what are the barriers, why is it there, who are the people who can provide access to the customers, and what are the concerns they have about talking to the customers. Are there certain conversations that they don't want you to have? Are there certain kinds of customers, especially in B2B, where maybe the sales team are trying to pursue a renewal and they're concerned about, like, if you talk to them, what would that impact? Or they're concerned about you showing things that are not fully ready yet, and maybe they're worried that that will look badly on the company. Or maybe it's even the end customer, right? The end customer may feel like, oh, they don't have time for this. They can only talk to so many people from your company at a time. So you need to understand what the reason is, whether it's internal resistance or if it's the customers that are actually like not interested, or whatever the other scenario or challenges there might be are. Because it's only when you understand those issues or what the constraints are that you can then start working towards finding a solution. Thirdly, you need to be clear on who you want to talk to. So, especially with B2B again, there will be the customer, the person who's actually paying for the product, and then there'll be the end users. Those are people who are actually using the platform. Sometimes the customer is also using the platform, sometimes they're not. And even in B2C, right, there are different segmentations of users and different like ways that teams categorize and classify users. And so you need to understand like which of those people do you want to talk to. And you need to also consider the fact that the more quote unquote valuable that user group is to the business, in some cases, the more hesitant they might be to wanting to allow someone else to talk to them. So you need to also know who you want to talk to. So to recap, you need to first understand the lay of the land, who currently has access to the users. Secondly, you need to understand what the concerns are with other people outside of those people who currently have access to the users, talking to the users. And then number three, you need to be clear on who exactly, like what kind of or what segment of the user base or or whether I say the customer or the end user that you want to talk to, you need to be clear about that. Once you've gotten the lay of the land and you understand what the concerns are, you understand who currently has access to customers, and you understand who exactly you want to talk to, then you need to come up with a plan on how to actually get access to those people. And you have to think about direct, non-direct ways that will support the goals of the people who are making the decision. So whether it's the salespeople or the product managers or someone else, you need to understand how what you want to do is beneficial to them. Because it's only when you provide that benefit and value to them that they can now see the value in having the researcher or the UX team also have access to the users. So, for people in business, right, they are very comfortable with the idea of voice of the customer surveys or sessions or things like that. So you can think of that framing and say, oh, we can do a voice of the customer session to understand one, two, three, so that we can make this decision in a way that is effective and whatever, right? You frame it in a way that is beneficial to them. And then you use non-direct methods like maybe an in-app survey. You're not necessarily talking to a customer, but you're still getting insights from them through that in-app survey that they will take. And you have to think about what information does my team want to know. So, for example, if you release a new feature and people are not using it, you can see in your analytics tools that people are not using it, which, by the way, is also another indirect way of getting insights about people, looking at analytics tools and then saying to your team that, oh, I'm seeing that people are doing XYZ or not doing XYZ. Can we find out why so that we can make a decision to improve this metric, right? But yeah, so you're saying in these tools that people are not using a new feature that you just launched. You can do a survey in app to say, do you know about this feature? I mean, not in those terms, right? But like crafting a survey to assess the discoverability of that feature. And so you can know that maybe the reason why people are not using it is because they don't even know that it exists, right? So that way you're getting an insight about something that's valuable to the team without necessarily talking to a customer or a user. Another non-direct way is to look at, if you have an app, to look at the app store reviews for your product. I've talked about this so many times. Look at, actually read the reviews. Don't just look at the rating, because that's what people tend to do a lot. They're like, oh, we have 4.5-star rating on the app store. No, go beyond that. Actually look at what people are saying in the comments to see like what are the customer complaints and issues and things like that, and that you can take to your team as like, just by doing desk research, I found this, this, and this. If we're able to interview customers or whatever, then we can get more insight into this and see how we can make an impact and improve the user experience or increase retention or whatever, right? So if you see a comment that says, oh, this app does not do this, and so I've stopped using it, and you see more comments like that, then you can then take that to your team and say, oh, I have this insight and we should do more research around this to uncover what are the needs here. And then you can then go and do your nice big qualitative research project that you want to do based off of that. The last direct, indirect way of getting insights, like doing some kind of research, is to talk to your internal sources. And those are those people that we already established already have access to the customers. So talk to all of those people individually. So you can talk to your customer support people, you can talk to your account managers or whoever else in your team is talking to the users in some way, and ask them questions. Now, you're not necessarily going to take that to use to make a product decision, but you can take that to frame some more research questions, to frame like, oh, we know this, but these are the things that are missing and we don't have the full picture because of this, and so these are the questions we have, and the only way we can get the answers to these questions is by talking to the user. So you're building the case for doing research by already extracting insights that already exist through secondary sources, which I already mentioned. One more thing you can do is, if you know people who fit into the target audience of the product that you work on, outside of your customer base, or if you're able to access those people outside of your organization, then do that. So, for example, if the product that you're working on is targeted towards doctors, for example, if you know any doctors in your own life personally, right, or you know people who know doctors, then talk to those people, right? Take what you've heard about the questions that your team has or the projects that they want to work on, and then run research sessions with those people and share those insights with your team, and you can use that to show again the value of doing research. So to recap, if you're in a team where people are hesitant about the UX team or the product team talking directly to customers or users, what you need to do first is to understand the lay of the land. You need to know who currently has access to the customers or the end users. You need to know what are the concerns that they have about you, the product team or the UX team, having access to the users. Then, once you have all of that established and knowing who exactly you want to talk to, then you need to think about the direct, indirect ways that are already available to you. So, for example, if your team is comfortable with surveys, maybe you want to do surveys, do in-app surveys to start getting some insights that can lead to more questions that require additional qualitative research using analytic tools, looking at the data in those product analytic tools and saying, we need to do more research to understand this. Then the third thing that you do is you work with those, or the third thing you can do is work with those teams who already have access to the users to ask them questions. And for example, with account managers, right, you can ask for, they usually have calls with the customer that they're managing. So you can ask for like 5 minutes at the end of the call, or you can even ask to just join their call. Like, don't ask any questions. Like, I would just like to join your call to learn, to just hear what the customer has to say. You don't have to ask any questions the first time. So when you've been there a couple of times, you can then say, okay, can I ask this question, or can I talk about that? Right. So then you slowly get into that space where people become more comfortable with you talking to the end user. And then also you can look at app store reviews if you have that available to find useful insights that can lead into bigger research projects. Yeah, so I hope this helps. Bye. Thank you for joining me on today's episode of A Couple of Things. If you enjoyed this episode or found any part of it insightful, don't forget to share with your friends on your social media, and be sure to leave a comment or a review if you can on your podcast listening app. Thank you.